I think it's important for the play-by-play man to give the viewer a reason to watch the game. I see myself as a storyteller. I do this research, do this reading, do this memorization so that there's a natural flow, and who knows what of this will get in the game. But you do it because it's part of the art of what play-by-play is all about.
The smile on Tom Landry's face was a
I've been extraordinarily privileged in 5 decades to have been present at any number of significant sporting events. And I've been even more blessed when present at those sporting events to have fulfilled what I think is the reason I get paid, to capture the moment in sometimes meaningful ways. And I could be self-deprecating and say, well, it doesn't matter. The truth is, it matters a lot. I just shake my head sometimes and think, how did this all happen?
In your life, have you seen anything like that?
It's interesting. When this documentary was announced, I can't tell you how many people I've had come up to me and say, well, is this it? Are you retiring? I said, no, I'm not. When it's time, I think I will know. And as long as I can do it at a reasonably high level, I'm going to continue doing it.
Hi, once again, everybody. Verne Lundquist along with Gary Danielson. We welcome you to Tea Time. Here's Yeldon. Oh, wow. The blitz is coming. Let's it go. It's caught. What a catch. Got it. Oh, that might have been 6. Sims will run, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds by Sean Washington. The floodgates have opened. 4:37 to go, 31-0, and it's 3rd and 17.
He's easy to mesh with.
All year, Alabama has only had 5 runs of more than 20 yards.
Verne encourages you to join him in the conversation.
That's a poor punt.
That qualifies for poor. Right?
I'm a master of adjectives.
That's a perfect one right there.
It's kind of like Dancing with Fred Astaire.
I still shake my head in amazement 50 years after it all started. I had a rather modest beginning in this business. I was started as a summer disc jockey in August of 1963 at KTBC TV, AM and FM in Austin, my hometown. But my goal at that time was always to get to Dallas.
Verne Lundquist, a man of the hour. At 5:30.
So all of a sudden I'm in Dallas. I was 27 years of age. I was really skinny. I had a lot of hair. I had black frame glasses. And I was provided with the loudest assortment of clothing you can ever imagine.
Verne Lundquist, when you really want to know.
I then also got to do the Dallas Cowboy radio play-by-play job when the Cowboys were coming into their ascendancy as America's team.
Perhaps it is there that the branding of a champion will become complete.
I got to go to 5 Super Bowls with them. And I guess the most memorable had to be Super Bowl 13. We had just developed the capacity to go live from remote locations.
The preparation for Super Bowl 13 can be intense, but there are also most moments of relaxation, even tonight.
Jackie Smith and his wife were my guests in our 10 o'clock sports segment.
Here on this particular boat, along with all these other folks, are the 2 folks who are up on top.
And I asked him what would be the most memorable way he could go out and call it a successful career.
He is 3 days away from his first Super Bowl.
And he said, I would love to have a meaningful moment in a Cowboy victory. In the 3rd quarter, Dallas was trailing by 7. They had a 3rd and 3 at the 10-yard line. Jackie Smith had an opportunity to really shine.
Dropped in the end zone. Jackie Smith all by himself.
And I just had an empathy for him.
Oh, bless his heart. He's got to be the sickest man in America.
Because of what he had told me on Wednesday night. And in that moment, my thought was with him, and I just said, bless his heart. He's got to be the sickest man in America.
And he could not hang on to the ball.
You could make a pretty good case that a lot of people might have been more critical, as in, you've got to make that catch. No, you don't. No, sometimes mistakes are made. You don't make the catch, you drop it, and it sticks with you for the rest of your life.
And I'm the veteran of the bunch, Verne Lundquist for Channel 8.
But those were great, great, great years for me. Things change, and I moved over to CBS in 1982. But I will always look back on the years I spent in Dallas with great fondness.
Well, I tell you, they didn't vote dry in Cleveland. They got a few
50 years? He's done it for 50 years.
Well, broadcasting.
Wow. To last 50 years in this business is extraordinary. The travel alone would wear out people that would be in better physical shape than Verne, which would be the entire planet.
This is frightening. What can I tell you? Kenny, it's beyond embarrassing.
What are they doing here?
They are doing a documentary, the title of which is
Verne.
In Your Life.
Is that you? Is it your life?
Yeah.
Oh, Verne the movie.
Today is going to mark the first time in the history of the Masters that any broadcaster has broadcasted for 30 years.
Wow.
We're going to miss you after this year, Verne. It's been a great run. Well done.
I think for a broadcaster, Augusta is the ultimate canvas. I mean, you have the most beautiful visuals that you could have for any sport. I find it to be the ultimate playground for storytelling.
Morning. How you doing?
Trying to be the perfect caption writer for Augusta is one of the great challenges of a career. Verne has absolutely thrived in that environment. He has been the perfect complement for Augusta in all of its majesty.
Hi, how are you? I was at the end of my first year at CBS, and I got a call. We're thinking of adding you to the golf group. Wow. Well, here are your assignments. You're going to do the Byron Nelson and the Colonial. You're going to do the Memorial. You're going to do Pebble Beach. And you're going to do the Masters. Well, I will tell you that Nancy and I celebrated long into the night that night. The week that I'm lucky enough to spend at Augusta is a week to be envied by anybody who loves golf and loves sports. Nothing like home. It is like my own little roost, my perch in the trees, you know. We see the 6, we see the tee shot. Come back over here, I can actually see the 17th tee, but I've got 15 and, of course, all the 16 right here. Lance, I'm here, 16. We're all set.
Well, I always think every time you hear the voice of Verne Lundquist, you know you're at something special.
Most sports announcers are lucky if in their career they have one defining phrase. We all remember Al Michaels, "Do you believe in miracles?" Or Jim McKay, "They're all gone." Well, unbelievably, Verne Lundquist has had half a dozen of these moments, which in our industry is absolutely unbelievable.
Yes, sir!
There's so many stories about Sunday at Augusta in 1986, and I was at 17 for the first time. I still believe that watching Nicklaus come from behind is the greatest single sporting event I think I've ever seen.
Jack Nicklaus, greatest player of all time at 46 years old, birdieing the 9th, 10th, and 11th holes. I mean, I had hair standing up on my arms.
Then he birdied 13, he parred 14, and then the drama really, really began.
And we're all thinking that maybe Jack can pull it off.
Now, Jim Nance is at 16, his first Augusta. What an introduction.
There's no doubt about it.
And Jim had a great line.
The bear has come out of hibernation.
The place was awash in noise. I've never heard fans at a golf tournament that loud.
The old bear here.
Now he's at 17 where I'm working. We take a break, and all I'm thinking is keep it simple and get out of the way.
Let's go to the 17th.
And the old bear is oblivious to what has just happened back at 15, of course, concentrating on his second shot.
This is why the drama was incredible. Jack hits his tee shot a lot to the left. And after he hit that tee shot, back at 15, Ballesteros hits his second shot.
Destined for the water.
Into the water. I think what made it so memorable, it was Jack.
This is for sole possession of the lead.
And if he makes the putt, he's going to be in sole possession of the lead at the age of 46.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
I just reacted and I said, maybe, and then the ball went in. And I said, yes, sir, with a little more emphasis than that.
We still had 18 to play, but you knew that Jack was going to put that green jacket on when Verne Lundquist announced that, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Exactly what everyone at home was thinking. It might be the single greatest clip in the history of the game.
And as usual, Verne, lucky swine, you know, he was there and the perfect man for the job.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
Yes, sir. That's what I would do. That's what I remember most about Verne Lundquist. He'll be tied to me forever.
The Nicklaus putt has been played forever and ever and ever. But I have a chance now publicly to state what I didn't know for the longest time. Here's the headline I most like.
Yes.
Swede likes position in tournament.
It was a little closer.
I'll tell you a quick story. We stay in private homes at Augusta, and CBS leases a large number of homes at a private country club. And for years, my roommates were David Faraday and Peter Costas. And somehow we got to talking about 86. And they said, well, you do know that Ben Wright said yes, sir, on the 15th hole. He said yes, sir, before you did. And I said, no, I don't believe so. They said, you need to go check the tape.
Jack has backed off because there is applause from the gallery at the 16th hole nearby.
I have a videotape of the 86 Masters, and I rolled to Jack Nicklaus on the 15th hole, and there it is in living color.
Yes, sir!
Ben Wright after the Eagles saying, yes, sir. And Ben and I have talked about it. And I don't mind telling anybody that Ben took offense. He said, with only slight warmth, you stole my line. I said, no, Ben, it was subliminal. It got in here. I didn't think, boy, that sounded good. I think I'll use that if Jack takes the lead. It's a significant thing, but lawsuits are not pending. You always hope, I think, for one, as Jim Nance would say at basketball, one shining moment. And I really had mine in 86, and then was so lucky 19 years later to have lightning strike for a second time.
Oh, wow! In your life have you seen anything like that?
Morning, guys.
You going to prison?
I'll put the men and women of CBS Sports up against anybody else. We've got a lot of long-timers who work both behind the scenes and in the production of this event.
Yes, sir! Yeah.
It's impossible for me to think back on those moments of 2005 without thinking about Norm Patterson, the technical director, a man who took it upon himself in that moment to delay changing the scene you saw at home, thus affecting forever your memory of Tiger's chip shot. Steve Milton is our director. He's the guy who calls the camera shots. He's the one who decides what you see when you're set at home.
I'm ready, Arkansas. Slow cameras.
Here's what happened on that occasion. Right before it dropped in, Steve Milton, acting as he should have, said, "Ready, 6, take 6." And that's a tight shot of Tiger Woods.
He was in anguish. He was looking down as if the ball was not going in. Well, everyone has to have patience, and I didn't have patience. I was ready to get to another camera.
And it's a fireable offense to disobey a director's orders. But instinctively, Norm decided, let's not take camera 6 quite yet. It changes everything I said. I would have had to explain what the roar was while you're looking at Tiger's face.
Next thing I know, the ball went in. I looked at my TV, I go, did we see that? And he goes, yeah, we saw that. He goes, we're a good team. And I said, thank you, Norm. It was a surreal moment.
I'm going to be lucky to have my call associated with that chip shot by Tiger Woods, probably forever. And the sad part of all of this is that in January of that year, 7, 8 months later, Norm Patterson died unexpectedly in his 40s. I miss him to this day, and I want him to be remembered as the guy that was every bit as responsible for your perception of that shot as anybody else.
By George, the dream is alive.
He's the best. The joy that he has calling a sporting event, it comes through. You hear it right through your speaker, and that's real. You can't manipulate that. It's not contrived. That's coming from his heart, and that's something to learn from as a young broadcaster.
I often get asked, what's your favorite sport? And my consistent answer is, I don't have one. The wonderful thing about the career I have is that the seasons change, and you go from a golf event to basketball, which is completely different. We are here and I'm in a happy situation, if you don't mind that word, of having been in a movie a few years back, and I can be walking on a college campus and 2 generations removed from the age of the students, and I hear it all the time. Hey, Verne, who the hell is Happy Gilmore?
Who the hell is Happy Gilmore?
Who the hell is Happy Gilmore? Everybody remembers the line, who the hell is Happy Gilmore?
Who the hell is Happy Gilmore, right?
The college kids still pay attention to Happy Gilmore.
That's Verne Lundquist. Great man. Very funny, Verne. You're a great man. We haven't seen Happy Gilmore play this badly since his first day on tour. He and Bob Barker are now dead last.
It's a wonderful conduit from kids in their 20s to a guy who's slightly older than that.
I couldn't count how many times we've gone to teams and the players come over and say, Verne, could you just say that Happy Gilmore line one time for us?
Who the hell is Happy Gilmore?
You know how many times I've heard that?
Every building we walk in, they all know him for Happy Gilmore. You know, it's like, what, are you kidding me?
I work now with this guy named Bill Raftery.
Well, that's jumping ahead to everything we were going to talk about.
The mayor of college basketball.
We've got to go through all this.
How do I describe him?
Three-pointer.
The man's got onions.
Onions! Double order!
Bill, they learned this.
Over the years, I worked with a lot of different partners. I worked with Billy Cunningham. I worked with Tommy Heinsohn. I worked with Hubie Brown. And I worked a couple of years with Len Elmore. Matter of fact, they put Lenny and me together for the 1992 season. And that's how we got involved in the telecast of what has been described as the greatest college basketball game ever played.
There's the pass to Laettner. Yes! Good evening once again, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist.
Duke was the top seed in the East, and the star of that team was the senior Christian Laettner.
These guys transcend the traditional.
Kentucky had been on probation, and they featured only one great player. He was a sophomore, Jamal Mashburn. But his surrounding cast was not highly recruited. They were forgettables before the game. After that, they became the unforgettables. And so coming in, Kentucky was the decided underdog. And Duke, they were the mighty Duke.
Thomas Hill for Duke.
Christian Laettner was having a sensational game.
Laettner. There's the triple team on Laettner. No problem.
He was perfect. There were a number of memorable moments, one of which still stands out for me. Laettner got fouled by the Mino Timberlake. And Laettner planted his size 14 foot.
And Laettner kicked him.
In Timberlake's midsection.
There's the technical on Christian Laettner. Stepped right in his chest.
And Lenny's reaction was, I'm not sure he meant to do that.
I was trying to give Christian Laettner the benefit of the doubt without really taking pause and assessing the situation.
And I don't know if he did it on purpose or not.
And mine was a little more from the stomach.
Yeah, he did. Pretty obvious.
He very easily could have been ejected. Fortunately for Duke, he was not.
Oh, brother, what a bad.
But Kentucky would not go away.
To Feldhouse.
And so the game goes on and on and on. Brilliant moment.
Oh, goodness.
After brilliant moment.
How did he get the shot off?
And in overtime, Sean Woods of Kentucky goes into the lane and takes this impossible shot.
Woods.
And Verne, being Verne, just had such an incredible reaction to it.
How did he find the courage to take that kind of shot?
That's what I remember from the game. It's his human touch at the most incredible and intense moments.
It's a terrific question to ask, and it didn't even need an answer.
So it comes down to the four seniors.
As they took the floor, I just wanted to see who was standing where, who might be guarding whom. And here was Grant Hill, 6'8", son of a Dallas Cowboy football player, unguarded, and we all remember what happened next.
There's the pass to Laettner. Puts it up. Yes!
Len and I took our headsets off, and we just watched the pandemonium that was going on all around us. This is where I think brevity helps. Lay out. Don't say a word. Let the moment unfold. It was an amazing environment at the Spectrum. And maybe 40 seconds after the game ended, I took a moment to reflect on what I'd just seen. And I thought, holy cow. What are the odds of going to 5 Super Bowls with the Dallas Cowboys as their radio broadcaster?
Just in case you're wondering.
Of becoming really good friends with Calvin and Janet Hill, and then later in life, getting to know his son Grant and watching him play
Grant Hill rebound.
in Duke's win over Kentucky, one of the great college basketball games ever played.
Mom and Dad look a little pleased.
Just think about it for a second. On October 5th, 1972, just prior to our 10 o'clock newscast in Dallas, I got a call from Calvin Hill. He called to tell me that Janet had just given birth to Grant Henry Hill. And I got to announce Grant Hill's birth on WFAA TV, Channel 8.
Grant Hill, whose dad was a football player.
It causes me to think,
Finds Christian Laettner.
my gracious, these things keep happening.
Puts it up. Yes!
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Verne Lundquist, and welcome to this majestic city of Rome, a site of some of the most glorious architectural.
One of the things that Verne is great at is
100-meter women's freestyle.
he's a play-by-play guy. He doesn't try to be an analyst. He is what he is. I once asked him, Verne, you do horse racing, you do ice skating. You don't know anything about ice skating. How do you do that? And he said, well, it's very simple. Say the Russian. comes on the ice, Victor Petrenko. It's another Russian, Victor Petrenko. Skate, 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 jump, skate, 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 jump, skate, 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 fall, get up, skate, 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 skate. And that was the Russian, Victor Petrenko. You know, and I thought that's exactly what he does. He doesn't have to be an expert at the sport, but he's an expert at broadcasting it.
We have for you today an unprecedented 4 hours of
I've been
track and
very
field
lucky.
coverage.
In all of the years I've spent in network television, I've had a few moments that people remember vividly, but I'm brought back to reality at least once a month, I swear. Someone will come up to me and say, I grew up in Dallas, and I just stop. I know what's coming next.
Want to know what real fun is? Just ask any of Channel 8's winners. They'll tell you.
I remember you from Bowling for Dollars.
Oh, let me tell you too much.
One of my role models coming of age in Dallas was the late Frank Gleber. He taught me a ton of things, one of which was never, ever turn anything down.
You just did it, and I thought for a second.
And so I've applied that all of my life. My biography at CBS Sports says 20 different sports. Well, there have been. I actually did archery. I did indoor speed skating. I did weightlifting. I did a volleyball match in what was then called Leningrad. You get assigned to some weird places. I got a call in 1986 and was told, you're going to Aachen, West Germany. And I said, for what purpose? To do the World Horse Jumping Championship. Really?
Good afternoon, everybody.
Did you know that there is an arena in Aachen that holds 65,000 people? And it's only for horse jumping. And they filled the place.
And the crowd most appreciative.
More than anything else in my career, I wanted to have on my resume, he was a part of the Olympic coverage. So in 1988, I vividly remember getting a phone call from Ted Shaker, who was our executive producer at the time, and he said, we have the rights to the Winter Olympic Games. Nancy and I live in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a ski resort. So I assumed I'd be doing the Alpine. We're gonna try something a little different. We're gonna pitch you on figure skating with Scott Hamilton. Really?
He didn't know what to think. I told him that what he'd get to do was hear a lot of good music, and the athleticism of the skaters would astound him.
It's gonna be right down your alley. You have a deep love of music.
Nice to see you, Verne.
One of the great joys in my life is the Strings Music Festival. Our festival is the most important component in our lives in Steamboat Springs. We get world-class classical musicians coming in, and then we flavor it with a good dollop of country western, jazz, and blues.
People from all over the United States and the world come and perform for us. It's so much a part of our lives.
He loves music, he loves the arts. So figure skating completely appealed to him, and he loved it.
The '84 Olympic champion and the guy who taught me to love this sport.
Well, the dirty little secret was, I knew nothing about figure skating, so Scott and I came up with a little system. When a significant jump was about to take place, Scott would reach over and put his left hand on my right arm. And I knew what he was trying to tell me. Just shut up.
Triple toe, again, a little off there. The combination, beautiful save. And it worked perfectly.
Those of us of a certain age recall the 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer because of all of the events that had taken place leading up to the Olympic Games.
In Detroit today, someone attacked a U.S. Olympic figure skater just weeks before the 1994 Winter Olympics.
Kerrigan was treated and released from a local hospital. Nancy Kerrigan is the United States' best hope for a gold medal.
How could this happen? Who's to gain, and why would... Oh, please let Tanya not have had anything to do with this.
We were in Detroit the day that Nancy Kerrigan got whacked on the thigh. I had a senior executive with the United States Figure Skating Association say to me, when we get to the bottom of this, and we will, Tanya Harding will be involved.
An assistant district attorney says Tanya Harding has agreed to answer questions.
Reports continue to link Harding's ex-husband, Jeff.
For Tanya Harding, it was another day of skating and denying here at her practice center.
It all added up, in my mind, to one of the most hyped events ever.
The ex-husband of teammate Tanya Harding was taken into custody today as Harding tried to publicly distance herself from him.
This really got a lot more attention than anything I ever could have imagined.
I'm tired. Those who will finally select the Olympic team say there's still not enough evidence to kick Harding off the team.
And now we have to deal with it at the Olympics.
We had expected to see Tanya Harding in the ice. Have you heard anything about
The morning of the first practice together is among the more surreal events I have ever witnessed in 50 years of sports television.
We're covering a competition here, and it all of a sudden became a joke. I've heard that she's in the building. Her coach has been seen. A lot of people are saying that there she is. She's just finally got on.
You're looking live at Tanya Harding.
Nancy Kerrigan, of course, is on the ice now.
Yeah, we've got pictures of Tanya.
They're going to handle the circus side of this. Let's give every one of these athletes their due.
Once again, everybody, I'm Verne Lundquist.
And so Verne and I, we just had to talk to each other and just say, look, you know, we're here to cover the event. Let's just please focus on these athletes.
What I discerned from Scott was a level of disgust that this sport, about which he cared so much, had become a living cartoon.
She skates to music from the movie Much Ado About Nothing.
I was told that for that ladies' event in Norway on a Wednesday night, we received a 48.5 rating, 126 million viewers.
It was the fourth most watched television program of all time.
And then Friday dawned, and that was even more bizarre.
I'm here to win.
Tanya Harding, after the warm-up, had a problem with her laces.
Not gonna hold me.
It is her turn to be on the ice right now.
Scotty looked at me off the air during a commercial and said, she's hijacked the Olympics.
Really? Really?
In a situation like this, the referee, the judging panel will give her every opportunity to...
It was just so crazy.
After Lillehammer, I think there was a feeling among a lot of us, this could have been such a great event. But because of the propulsion for the fascination of the ladies' event, at least I'm kind of left feeling, it could have been so much better. In the late 90s, I was doing the National Football League telecast with Dan Deerdorf. We were the #2 team in the NFL for CBS. I thought life was really good.
He's got a man! Shannon Sharp! Touchdown! Touchdown! Shannon Sharp!
But then I started hearing rumblings that Dick Enberg was unhappy doing Notre Dame football at NBC.
It's a rebuild team for Notre Dame.
I didn't think it would affect me, but just to check, I called my boss.
We were having some very secret discussions with Dick Enberg, and Verne called me because he had heard the rumors that we might be bringing him over.
I said, is that going to happen? And Sean said,
don't worry about anything. It's going to turn out really, really well.
And I could almost hear a smile in Sean's voice when he said, but now in the unlikely event that we brought Dick over to CBS, how would you feel about going over and doing the SEC? I hung up the phone and looked at my wife, and I said, honey, pack your bags for Tuscaloosa. Well, the way it's turned out, professionally,
Oh, that is funny.
my association with the SEC is the best thing that's ever happened to me.
When you say you're doing SEC football, the first name that comes up is Verne.
Here we go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, thank you.
All right, everybody, stand back, okay? This is an active zone now, okay? You enter this area at your own risk.
This is a very bad omen for Alabama. They're undefeated at home when Verne spills something on his shirt, and he hasn't done anything. He's just loved because people know that what you get on TV is what you get when you meet him out at a restaurant.
Hi, how are you? Oh, no.
When you hear his voice, you connect right away.
1, 2, 3.
He just owns wherever he goes. He enjoys wherever he goes.
He's like a jolly good fellow. He's friendly, has that belly laugh.
Your best line was, I cry when I open the refrigerator.
I wish.
That laugh comes out, doesn't it? I mean, it comes out often.
Be like,
You know who it is when you hear that.
Just pure kindness.
When you hear Verne Lundquist's laugh, it just makes you feel better.
Oh, Gary. Oh, Gary.
That chuckle or chortle will get you every time.
I'm all right.
The Auburn thing last year, I heard that a few times.
It wasn't quite your answered prayer.
I have heard the Iron Ball call, and even though it's one I would like to forget, pretty unique.
Over the course of a decade and a half, I have seen some incredible events in the SEC. 23 Tim Tebow games. The amazing season that Cam Newton and Auburn put together in 2010.
He accelerates.
Les Miles went for first down 5 times on 4th down.
In the end zone, it's a touchdown.
We had number 1 against number 2, LSU and Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
Remains undefeated.
And then last year, in the middle of November, we get Georgia at Auburn. It's called the Prayer at Jordan-Hare.
I've never seen anything like this. I really haven't.
Gary said as we went off the air that night, there will never be a finish to a college football game to equal that one. And so we waited a full 2 weeks.
An answered prayer.
I think it's hard to describe the relevance of the Iron Bowl to people who don't live in the state of Alabama. But for those who do live there, the Alabama-Auburn Iron Bowl game is by far the most significant sporting event of the year.
You know, we've had at least a 2-week buildup to this.
Last year, in 2013, Alabama was number 1, Auburn was number 4, so both teams were in contention for a national championship.
7 seconds remaining.
We're tied with just a few seconds left.
Here comes Alabama's Hail Mary.
T.J. Yeldon of Alabama does, or he does not, step out of bounds with 1 second left. The replay official couldn't determine whether Yeldon's foot had hit the ground with 1 second left.
Pretty close.
When I started in television, there was no such thing as videotape. There was black and white film. My goodness, how things have changed.
I was telling them, talking to them, truthfully begging them to give me 30 or 45 seconds to do a computer-generated split screen.
The computer has these two in sync.
That would show both the foot clearly in or out and the time on the clock.
Now.
There's a second left.
After review, the runner's foot touched out of bounds at the 39-yard line with 1 second on the clock.
And so 1 second was put back on the clock. 1 second. And it led to the most remarkable finish ever in a college football game.
They're going to try a field goal?
Saban sent a redshirt freshman out to attempt a 57-yard field goal.
On the way. No, returned by Chris Davis. Davis goes left. Davis gets a block. Davis has another block. Chris Davis. No flags. Touchdown.
To me, that's what it was. It was an answered prayer.
This is one of the wildest scenes I have ever seen in college football.
Here's the true confession about the touchdown call. I called the touchdown for Auburn and said with authority, no flags.
No flags.
And then I thought, for just that long, dear Lord, please don't let there be any flags. And there weren't. In this case, this was the greatest finish to any sporting event I've ever witnessed. It reinforced what I have said many, many times over the years. I am so lucky, so privileged to be a part of college football. I love doing this so much. And here's what I do not want to do. I don't want to go out with people thinking he should have gone sooner.
50 years is obviously a long time to be in this industry. I'm not sure how much longer Verne wants to do this, but from my perspective, if Verne wants to retire, the answer is no. He's going to be here at CBS Sports for a long, long time.
When it's time, I think I will know. I think Nancy will know, my wife. She is present at every SEC game that we televise. It's a wonderful way for us to stay connected after all these years.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
All right, in the back, everybody have one? Yeah. So to our friend Verne, the year of Verne continues. He found out recently that he is going to be honored by the Walter Camp Foundation as their Distinguished American. Well-deserved, Verne.
Congrats, Verne. Means a lot. Thank you very much. You know, when you hit 50 years in this business, as I am continuing to discover, a lot of nice recognition comes your way. Back in the spring at the Final Four, I was awarded the Blackie Sherrod Lifetime Achievement Award. That's a huge honor. My alma mater, Texas Lutheran, invited me back to the campus last May, where I delivered the commencement address.
Congratulations to you.
But I think really at the end of it all, the most significant probably is when I was told that I was the latest honoree for the Vin Scully Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm stunned by this. I mean, contemplated this ever since I got the call from Vin Scully in December, and to think that I've been chosen as a part of this group is really extraordinary. I mean, I've gone over this speech maybe 100 times, and I think I've got it memorized, but I'm not so stupid as to not take a cheat sheet up there.
I've always had a healthy respect for older people. And working alongside Verne, that respect has been enhanced.
As in each of our lives, there have been highs and lows, some of them extreme at either end. I've tried as best I could to treat my family, my friends, and my colleagues with dignity and respect. I've tried to always remember that the game is the thing, and when it's done well, sports television is the ultimate collaborative endeavor. A lot of wonderful moments have occurred in acknowledgement of longevity, but I promise you this, tonight is the fulfillment of all of them.
How did this all happen?
I love you too. I love you, and I'm so glad I was able.
You know, how do you wind up on the 17th hole in 1986? And it's Jack Nicklaus and he makes the putt.
Maybe. Yes, sir!
How do you wind up at Duke, Kentucky, and it's Christian Laettner and he's perfect for the night? How do you wind up in Lillehammer next to a guy you love and adore, Scott Hamilton, and you're calling the highest rated Olympic event in television history? How do you wind up in the Iron Bowl And you got a guy who returns a kick 109 yards for a winning touchdown. I just shake my head sometimes and think, how did this all happen? It happens if you're blessed.
How about that? Oh, I didn't expect to hear a Steamboat reference. That's awesome.